Hey everyone, and welcome to another Age of Bison casted game. We find ourselves in the Elimination Bracket quarterfinals. We have Tio versus Vindian on the predetermined map Korea. Turn view lock off here. Vindian spawning in on the right side of the map as the French civilization, which is probably a pretty decent pick given that this is a hybrid map and France seems to do well. They've got a decent water. And on the left side of the map, we have Tio spawning in as the USA playing one of his main civilizations in the color blue. I'm joined with Platypus Slayer. Plat, how are you doing today?
I'm doing pretty good, and will be interesting to see what strategies are going on for those of us that haven't caught up. So Tio originally went down to Dunamai 2-1, and Vindian was knocked out also by Dunamai. So it'll be kind of interesting because the winner of this has a very good chance of advancing to the next bracket and perhaps getting a chance to play Dunamai again. So on the skill level, both of them were knocked out by the same player, so there's really no indicator of which one is the stronger player. So it'll be very interesting to see. We know that Tio tends to play very clean, very expert, but limited civ pool. Vindian is pretty tricky. The last time against Dunamai didn't quite work, but we've seen him in other tournaments and other rounds get a lot of work done with unique builds. So
So,
again, it'll be interesting to see the plays that each player pulls.
so it seems like this is going to come down to a civ selection, and remember this is a blind civ selection for 75 wood. That's really good. Blind civ selection for the first game, so neither player was aware of the civ that they picked uh, against each other. What do you see in this matchup? Who do you think is favored?
Well, both are pretty versatile civs. France has just about any play style available to it. It has a very strong age four, very good economy, wide selection of units. United States, not as wide selection of units, but nonetheless, we've been seeing a lot more age two play on the ladder. So it went from an FF or bust civ to pretty flexible. This map is a hybrid map. It's got TP, it's got some natives, it's got water, so the sky is really the limit for strategies between these two players.
The one thing I will note about this water is that there are no whales on Korea. It is all fish, so it is a very limited resource. So that is something to keep in mind when if you do go water, that to not boom too hard, as eventually you're going to have to be deleting boats, and you don't really want to be doing that. As we see TO here macroing, creeping this 80 wood treasure while he knows that the French explorer is on the other side of the map. So good call from TO's part. This 80 wood treasure will be very good, and he's aging up already before 3 minutes with Virginia. Virginia, one of the typical age ups, I guess meta age ups from the USA. This 80 wood treasure, as he's got 11 people on wood, will help him get what he needs precisely as the market goes up immediately. We're going to hop over to Vindian's perspective. The French, again, very good at scouting the map. They've got their native scout that can really, I mean, it's really hard to beat the French in scouting just because they have two fairly quick explorers, a la, Japan. Can get to the treasures, find the treasures, good treasures, and get to them and take them out pretty early. Vindian is aging up behind this with the quartermaster, going to get 400 wood behind this,
Look at
and
what his
we
deck has.
and we'll check the players' decks. You were a step ahead of me. This one's labeled beginner. Obviously, neither of these players beginners. What do you see out of this France deck? Lots of lots of eco cards, and some just two military shipments in here. Plat.
I would guess that this is a age two French play. All those resource crates should um, really benefit early aggression. I did not see any native cards, which this is definitely a map that has strong natives. So, and Vindian's also known for using natives. So a little bit of different styling that we're seeing from Vindian here today, and I expect that French deck is going to really come down to the unit selection and can he leverage that age two pressure versus the United States, which has a very strong age 3 and 4 of its own.
We've got 2 Jesuits on the map. The Jesuits giving you conquistadors and a couple of very interesting smokeless powder being a very good card to send in age 2. Neither player opting for a trading post, but the new mechanic USA is getting some line of sight from both of these Jesuits. As we will take a peek into the USA deck. Looks like he's already sent Virginia Plan, Capitalism, French Immigrants. Very standard stuff so far from the USA player, wouldn't you say, Platt?
Well, except for how far these Minutemen are. Is he kind of go for a cheeky raid, I guess?
Certainly,
Maybe.
like with these Minutemen, I know a lot of USA players like to take these Minutemen and find some early treasures, but this certainly looks very raidy from the United States player, which is an interesting decision seeing as Minutemen, you know, they have a .25 multiplier against villagers, and until they get to be Marines, the really only good thing the only thing they're useful against is treasure guardians. Not even going to get one villager. The France player, especially with these CDB, he's not worried at all about these Minutemen. And,
No.
you know, he has sent the card to stop them from getting below half health. Culpeper Minutemen. So they are a little bit more useful than your standard Minutemen pop, but not much, as the France player is going to take his Vil and steal this treasure. 75 coin going the way of the France player. That will help him achieve his goals. He's going to lose a villager, but would you say 75 coin is worth that, Platt, or no?
I mean,
My gut
it's kind of
tells
hard
me
to tell.
no, but
You know, losing a CDP, it always hurts. France has more powerful villagers, but less of them. So every single one you lose hurts. But wow, we just saw a fast fortress.
a very fast fortress, a naked fast fort even. He does have the barracks up, but he's up before 7 minutes and immediately training skirms and sending falcons. This could be a very deadly play, but remember the Minutemen do have that bonus against siege units. So if the Minutemen get on top of the falcons, we could be seeing some very good counterplay from the USA player here. We'll hop over to his perspective here. Some reinforcing regulars coming in. And the USA player here, just Tio here, looking like he's going to try and hang out in Vindian's base, try and find some villagers to pick up. The mass is growing, 12 regulars, now 7 Minutemen and the Explorer. And Vindian getting his Falc pop. Only has 3 skirmishers, I believe. Yeah, musketeers. Vindian on 16 Vils. Tio on 20 Vils. Score lead in the United States players' favor here. What if you were in Vindian's shoes? I think you push here with the Falconets. Do you not try and push into the base, or?
I think so. I mean, you just did basically a naked FF, and the power is the timing of it. You know he's got a large army. You can't really do anything about those Falcons right now. I mean, the Minutemen will do extra damage, but with only half health for most of them, those Falconets are going to hurt. And if you can get another batch of these musketeers out, even H2 musketeers. I mean, you've got the bunker to fight off cav. You've got the range on the cannons. Yeah, there's no reason not just to go down the middle and maybe punch them out.
You know, that is a very, you can fast fort all you want, but, if you get up as he loses another villager here, you can naked fast fort to, pre 7 minutes, but he doesn't really have much to show for this. And
Right.
he had to delay as the Falconets are going to pop off on the Musketeers, and he really doesn't have the Musketeer force of his own to take this. The Minutemen are going to be focusing down these Falcons through the trees. Very good shots from the Minutemen here. Trees are not easy to shoot through. There's leaves and branches and everything in the way. One Falcon goes down. Second Falcon is going to go down. Reinforcing Musketeers coming in. but this focusing down of the Falcons really puts a damper. That eliminates Vindy's entire power spike.
Not
Despite
necessarily though, because I mean he's shipping H3 units. Let's see what Tio's doing. Is he macroing to well, he looks like he's trying to macro up to age 3, but I mean if he gets pressured, he's gonna have to respond. And this is just United States can ship Gatlings, but when you've got Curaise on the field, what does USA respond with?
well, he has responded by sending Hamiltonian economics and queuing every market tech known to man, and aging up behind this. Now would be a good time if you're Vindian to push. However, that being said, the Minutemen pop will be coming back, and that is something that Vindian should be aware of, knowing that that is something that Tio has in his repertoire and is planning on using. So we'll see exactly what happens here. How many musks is this? This is 12, 13 musks in the back. Going to pick off a couple villagers here. Good instincts from Vindian to push. I just don't think he's got enough to do anything with.
I think if he would have gone to the north, he could have caught those vills. And in fact, if he does catch them, that'll be almost a GG guaranteed right there. But now he's going back home. Don't think this is the right play. I think if you FF, you got to take that initiative, right? I mean, USA might have more powerful eco, but France can boom like nobody else. So I don't know. I feel like you have the advantage. You want to press it, but at the same time, he's feeling pretty safe. He killed the initial mass, so maybe he's just like, I'll stay home and boom.
And that is Vindian's playstyle. He does like to boom. So, we're 10 minutes and 38 seconds into the game, and Vindian's on 19 vills as 1,000 wood comes in. So Vindian could be feeling the hurt a little bit on the eco side. He's got 1,000 coin that he has in the bank and not much else, and really no military to show for it. 10 minutes and you're in the Fortress Age before 7, you kind of expect the power spike to have been there. So I feel a little bit wasted opportunity.
Yeah, all those vills out there too from Tio. Like that's the thing about Korea. Korea really kind of forces you forward. It's a really tough match if you are a person that likes to turtle, because the hunts are so spread out, the gold's so spread out. It really favors map control and aggression. And I think, Vindian's kind of booming, and it might cost him that momentum that he had.
54th Massachusetts Company, Massachusetts Volunteers coming in. Age up with New Hampshire, but we're going to get some sharpshooters and get their veteran upgrades for free, and some regulars joining into the mix. Tio is going to push in and see exactly what there is to see. Maybe there's some vills on this hunt here. Let's turn Fog of War off, which there is not. Interesting.
Vill pool, it looks like.
We'll hop over to Vindian's perspective to see if he might have saw a unit or two in the Fog of War. He's moving his military down there. 2 more Falcons, the artillery coming up, artillery foundry coming up. Yeah, Vindian definitely saw something here. Not quite sure what. Tio just, via luck it seems, to have pulled his mass back and joined in with the sharpshooters and more regulars. Looks like he's massing for a push here.
Sharpshooters too from the United States, they're one hell of a skirm, so that can really play into this matchup, because with that extra range, they're going to be able to outpunch the French skirms and definitely outpunch any sort of musket. So I think Vindian's going to have to really defend his cannons.
Yeah, and Vindian going for the full musk and cannon composition, which seems a little bit weird to me, knowing, you've seen so far that Tio has Minutemen and regulars. So the musk cannon pop or comp seems a little bit weird to me, does it not?
I think it's Fog of War. right? He's not sure what's going on. He's playing it safe, and France is a civ that's about flexibility, but you want to be playing to your opponent's weaknesses, right? Like you don't want to try to put regulars into muskets because you'll lose that fight. Oh, good God, look at the Gatlings.
That would be rolling artillery coming in. Vindian sitting on a shipment. Rolling artillery, and unfortunately for Vindy here, we've got a lot of sharpshooters mixed into the bunch, and these regulars are just not going to survive in any prolonged engagement here. These Falcons have they're gonna have to unpack and get some shots off.
The Colves are out.
We're gonna
the Colves gonna be able to deal with the Gatlings?
We do have 2 Colves. They are going to take some pot shots. 1 Gatling goes down. Tio focusing down the Colves to try and keep the Gatling guns alive. 2 Gatling guns go down. Regulars coming in. They're going to focus down. 2 Falcons go down. That is huge. We have...
Get a shot off. Oh, but it does. It smoked the... Wow, both their cannons are dead, but now you got sharpshooters and regulars. And those are going to beat, uncarded veteran Musk any day of the week.
Yeah, so that is a huge loss from Vindian's perspective. Losing, what is that, 2 Colves, 2 Falcons. So that's 2,000 res that he has lost compared to just 1 shipment as Marines are coming in from Tio. So these Minutemen that he's only got 6 so far, but they're about to be upgraded, and they're about to have a ton of siege platypus. This is looking worse and worse for Vindian by the second. Look how fast this church goes down. Oh, no.
Yeah, he really needed skirms. He really needed to win that fight, and now he's in this awkward position where he has no mass. And he's got to figure out a way to get back in this game. I don't know. Goons, sending goons. Why would you send...
5 Dragoons and a Falconet. This seems... 2 Falconets. He does just barely manage to get the second Falc off, but... Vindian's macro is all over the place, gathering 14 out of 27 vills, 14 on coin, 9 on food, only 1 gathering wood. Doesn't really have good macro for
does he not have a skirm shipment, or is he already
units. He has 8 skirms in the deck that he has already sent. I don't know where they went.
I think even 3 Cuirassier for a raid would have been better than 5 goons. I guess the goons will beat the Gatling guns, but with only 2 coming back,
these Gatling guns are going to take some.
Fight now.
Yeah, these Gatling guns or these Falcons are going to take some pot shots off, but and they're gonna get some units down. But these Marines are going to have they're going to be the counter. One Falcon goes down. Everybody taking pot shots off. Skirmisher is going to take out.
He's cleaning up the mass, though.
The regulars.
He's got the Explorer in. He's pulled everything he can, and I think he'll win this fight. But now the question is, what does he have to follow it up with? And that's a 10 pop of Musketeers, so Vindian's going to come out on top of this fight here. But he lost 2 more Falconets. That's another 1,000 resources lost. And he seems to be adjusting his macro entirely for Falconets and sending the Cuirassiers behind this, possibly going to go for a raid. Like you said, there's some villagers out in the middle here. There's some villagers up north. And we're starting to run out of hunts starting to run out of natural food on land, Platt. Yeah, and I think that's why water, even though there's no whales, it's very important, I think, in this map. Because it gives you a little bit of security, it lets you stay in your base a bit longer, and again, this map favors aggression, so having an economy that's kind of off the table and a lot safer. Oh, let's see here.
Everybody, both players are just gonna, be content. It looks like to take some pot shots, back off. Rolling artillery coming in for the second time, only delivering 2 Gatling guns, but 2 Gatling guns is still pretty devastating against all these infantry.
What's the range on those sharpshooters right now?
Yes. What is your command?
Sharpshooters, where are you? Sharpshooters 18 range, 23 range, 18 attack.
Oh, we got a big fight about to happen.
2 more Falconets coming in. Vindian going heavy on the Falcons and leaving them in front. That is a terrible loss from Vindy. Tio doing an excellent job in micro here, really just focusing down the units from Vindy that can take him out, and these cuirassiers are just going to get lost.
I mean, he does take out, again, I think he wins this fight, but he's going to start to lose the war because this is so much more expensive for him. United States now is 38 vills. How much does France have?
France at 32, and there's CDB, so, I think you give the eco advantage a little bit to France here just in pure gather rate. But Vindian losing, that's another 2 falconets, so that's 6 falconets I think that he's lost so far. 6 falcons
infantry right now either.
And 2 Kolv, more falconets coming out. I almost feel like it's the right call, facing all this infantry.
I'm ready. What is your command?
How many Marines?
Yes.
Do we have any Marines in the batch? Only 2 Marines, but he will be getting another pop. Continental Ranger is going to come in very soon. Rifle infantry to increase the hit points and attack of the sharpshooters. Knowing Vindy is still going full Musk, that's probably a good call. We'll hop back over to Vindian.
I think Tio's got the right deal. Something that a lot of players forget is United States gets free militia pops consistently. Once they get Marines, they don't lose HP, so there's no negative call at all to not make Marines. So, as the game goes on, like I said, Vindian's comp is more expensive, and it's starting to strain his economy, whereas, as we can see here, Tio's got a solid eco. That's why his score's higher, is because he's collected more res and essentially had better trades, even though he hasn't been able to really, finish anything off.
Well, these Minutemen are some of the most cost-efficient units in the game. So Tio will gladly throw Minutemen away at the cost, trade them with Falcons. Just because, one Falc will go down from just a few Minutemen, and that's 500 resources to basically nothing. So very cost-effective trades is we're going to see Vindian step into the line of fire with these musketeers.
It's hard not to. Regulars have +2 range to normal musketeers. Because that was a choice, and so it can be. It's really hard in musketeer wars because the United States regulars are costing a little bit more coin. They're weighted more for coin, but they are nasty. Look at this mass with those cannons in the front. I mean, these cannons are going to get wrecked with all those Marines.
Very interesting choice again for Vindian to not put the Falcons in the back, and he's paying the price. Tio is just too good of a player. He's going to micro down these Falcons. And, we've got some skirms in the back here from Vindian finally mixing in with the one goon at 4 HP. Long live the 4 HP goon. Finally going down.
A clutch Cuirassier pop. Oof.
That's going to hurt. Their area of effect is going to just shred all this infantry. What is Tio doing behind this? He's got a trading post wagon. There are some fights going down in the south. Nope, never mind. And Vindian going to clean this up with the Cuirassiers. I don't think he's going to lose one Cuirassier, and the entire mass from Tio is gone as the fight over this last... There's one more hunt up here by a dock we see going up from Tio. Realizing that he's only got this one safe-ish hunt in his base, and all this water is right for the taking.
That's the right call from Tio, and finally we get on some villager kills here.
Finally gonna see some raids here. This is a Vil pull.
What did he mean to?
I'm not sure. I think he just probably wanted to chase Tio off this hunt. What are these Vils doing? Are they just gonna go? They might just be going up to this coin mine here.
Yep. Looks like it.
Yeah, it looks like they're just going up to this coin mine. So no shenanigans quite yet. As we'll hop over to Vindian on 40 Vils. Tio on 43. So Eco lead to Tio again. To Vindian. Score lead to Tio, however. Vindian has secured this last safe-ish land hunt. Going to be sieging down this trading post. What's Vindian's next move from here, Platt?
Well, I think I'd really like to see him mixed in some more cav. United States, I mean, now we see it, that he's got some cav with him, but for the most part, he hasn't really used any cav, and you can be all over the board. Again, this is a map that favors aggression. I think Vindian, he's winning the battles, but he's slowly losing the wars.
Tio possibly expecting more cuirassiers, expecting the cav switch from the France player, has been massing dragoons in the back. Has 10 of them.
Oh no, the Vils.
And that is not good. We're going to turn Fog of War on real quick, and sure enough, and the Vils are just going to go the wrong way. There's 2 down. Going up to the north. 4 down. These cuirassiers just not going to deal with it. 5.
Oof.
And it's going to be a bloodbath. And here's the real Vil pull. Tio going to be facing a lot of these really tanky CDB trying to get the fight going.
CDB move him into melee though. That is kind of a mistake, because the thing about CDB is they have a killer range resist, but they have no melee resist. So keeping them from a range is the optimal way to use them.
I mean, it does seem to be working out so far. This mass from Tio is slowly getting whittled down. My guess would be that Vindian has put Greatcoats and Blunderbuss on these Vils, on these CDB already. And
yeah, but how much is he? I mean, how many? Let's see the villager count right now for Vindian.
52. He's down to 24.
He does have a dock, but it might be too little too late.
He does have a dock on the field. So both players going to water. Vindian wins this fight down to 23 Vils now. If it seems to me if Vindian wants a way back in, he's gonna have to do something drastic here. And that certainly was drastic. Vindian now down 5k in score. All these villagers, after a bloody bath, or a bloodbath, are...
Oh no, here come the Ulans.
Oh no, more Ulans coming in. This is Pulaski's Legion diving straight onto... Yeah, diving straight onto those Vils.
Those Ulans are going to clean up.
And
he's only got skirms. Oh.
That's not great. Unfortunately for Vindian here, I don't think he ever saw this dock to the north. These 2 docks now. So this coin mine was never safe. Those Vils were in line of sight at all times. The skirm mass goes down. Just one card after the other, says Vindian. GG, calling it. Tio takes game 1. Unable to play USA in the rest of this best of 3. Platt, let me hear your thoughts.
Well, I think, Vindian had the advantage for a long time. The United States does have extremely strong cards. It used to be that France was the best endgame civ. I think USA can test that title, and I think we saw exactly that. Vindian kept winning fight after fight, but he was not winning the war. The United States just keeps on rolling. They get factories. They have super musketeers to get further upgrades. They get skirms with more range than forest prowlers. It slices, they dice, right? Like, they do everything as the game goes on. And so, Vindian, sure, he cleaned up the early fights, but he was never able to really harm Tio's economy. And in the end, once his economy got hammered, there was no coming back.
I look at this Vil population graph, and yes, the CDB are 25% more effective than the normal Vils from any other civ, But you lose one to, I guess it's only two vills here, but it really set France back quite a bit. I mean, we'll take a look at their resources gathered chart, and yeah, right about that time, you see the resources start to taper off, and I think it really kind of boils down to the cost effectiveness of the United States troops. He's got Pulaski's Legion, and yes, that is a resource costing shipment. Lots of slow gathering wood, and Ormond's Legion, but the Minutemen kind of carried the weight early game. Vindian losing all those Colves, and how many Falcons did he lose that game? 4, 6,
over and over.
I think eight Falcons at least, maybe even 10 Falcons that he lost over the course of the game.
Well, it's something to consider, which is a somewhat contentious issue, I think, about the United States, is that Minutemen, even though these are special Minutemen and they don't actually lose any HP like a normal militiaman, they don't give XP on kill. So not only are they free units, but you don't even benefit by killing them. There's no downside to popping them as the United States. It's kind of one of the Civ features. And so if you're fighting a dueling battle with the United States and you're breaking even, their economy is going to be better late game, and they're throwing in free units. How do you combat that? So I think also too, before we go, when you fast fortress, a fast fortress is trying to end the game early. Vindian was unable to leverage that because of the pressure on his base, and then he was unable to take those Falcons and pressure the American base. There was a few times he had the larger army, even without the Falcons. He could have, raided, gone north, gotten the Vills. So, it was a close game, but I think ultimately Vindian wasn't able to close out the opportunities that he wanted to, and when Tio finally had the chance, he did, and that's why Tio's going to take this game.
One last point before we let you go. The shipment chart is just heavily in Tio's favor, and once you get 2 or 3 shipments ahead, your units are just better because they're upgraded. You get more units, and that is just the way the cookie crumbles.
Yep.
Thank you guys for watching. Game 2 of this elimination bracket quarterfinal will be going live in either 24 or 48 hours. Like, subscribe, do all the things, and we hope to see you in the next one very soon. Have a good one.